you have, that is going to be useful for you, not just at present but in the future, based on the requirements right now about the companies and all. That's the reason today we have our Murthy sir, and at the same time we have our Tejasvi sir also, who are our I can say the industry experts, as well as who are our trainers particularly, where first thing that we have done is, like, first of all, when it comes to like when we were having a conversation with Murthy sir and Tejasvi sir, our main that we communicated, and at the same time like even or both our of our trainers, we both have a same objective, that people should learn the right thing and in a right way. And today's session is all about that. And you guys are free to ask, once the sir session is done, you guys are free to ask any questions, any of your queries which is going on in your mind, or any that you have heard from someone, what should be done, what is next, is the biggest question that every freshers or every professionals have. What next? So I think today you will get an answers for all your queries. And first of all, I would like to welcome you guys for this session. And I would like to welcome Murthy sir. So regarding, I think Murthy sir and Tejasvi sir, Murthy sir is our today's esteemed speaker, I can say. And before we start, I would like to tell about Murthy sir, so that you guys can get to know if the in these many information that sir is able to communicate, and sir is able to train these many people, freshers, industry experts. This is because of his 18 years of rich experience in data science, analytics, and emerging technologies. If I have to speak about sir educational background and all, so sir have done the Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Communication. And Murthy sir is an IITian. He have done his MBA in marketing from the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology. And today, the experience that he holds, the 18 years that he have worked in a companies like Dell, IBM, Genpact, and in the roles from analytics and project management to a business intelligence and market research. And right now, where he is working as a faculty for emerging technologies at the Wadhwani Foundation, and is also been a data science consultant and the trainer. So this is all about Murthy sir. I would like to welcome you, sir, and today to share your insights and expertise with us today. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Swati.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Swati. Thank you so much about that introduction.
Thank
So
you,
yeah,
sir.
so let me give you a little bit of
Actually,
more. Yeah.
tried to say that, sir, because since we know you from many
Uh,
years and we have seen your work and how you have helped the students in transforming their career. So definitely it's a right here today. And at the same time, have you here, it's really pride to have you here as a speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Swati. Okay, so let's start off. So what are we going to do is I will just give another little bit of brief introduction about myself. Okay, so I mean, you might be thinking somebody who has an MBA in marketing, what is he going to tell me? But my work has been in data science pretty much throughout my entire career. Okay, so yes, I did an MBA in marketing and I wanted to be in advertising. But then my first job was with Genpact. Okay, we started with model building right off. So I started my work in statistical analysis, and then I moved to IBM and then HP and then Dell. All of these places, which are like the top places where you could work on data science and model building and statistical model building, deep learning, okay, any of these kind of technologies. So I have been there right from the beginning. So if any of you in my audience have started their career pre 2005, then you might know that many of the words that we know today actually did not exist back then. There was no word called data science back then. There was no word called machine learning back then. There was no such thing as deep learning. There was no such thing as AI, generative AI. If AI was there, it was there in science fiction. Okay, science fiction mein, it was always been a concept that we would someday like to have robot butlers. Robot butler as a concept can go back to like hundreds of years, right? Even in Mahabharata, there was an Akashvani where there was an intelligence which was talking to us, giving us information that we did not have, right? So AI as a concept has basically existed as long as humans have existed. Just that we had to build whole bunch of technologies to make a small little toy that kind of looks like AI, which we have today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my video because I would like all of you to focus on the tech and focus on what I'm saying. It may not be practical for us to keep an open house because there are a lot of participants today. So what I will do is I will make sure that in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we'll make it the last 15 minutes. So around 8:30, I will open it up for questions. You may please put in your questions as I am talking in the chat. Okay. And Kavya, please see if you can pick up some of the questions, as many questions as we can about the general themes that people are talking about, and then we can talk about it. Okay. So I will start off my deck and I will turn off my video because I would like to focus on this thing. All right. Let's start off on that. Okay, let me share. So let's talk about generative AI. I'm just turning off my camera. Okay. So the one thing that I would like to say about generative AI is that until now, whenever we took a course, we knew that we were getting a specific set of skills that we did not know before. Okay. We always knew that we had a set of skills. So basically, let me just write that down. We knew that we were getting a specific set of skills we did not have before. Please focus on this thing. It is very important because this kind of sets up the context in which we're talking about. So, for example, you went for cricket coaching. You went for cricket coaching because you did not have the skills for batting and bowling. You went for full stack training, or you went to, let's say, learn C++ programming because you did not know C++ programming. You joined a medical college because obviously you did not have the skills required to be a doctor, right? But now generative AI is the one course which is, if I might say, it's more like an MBA. It's not even like an MBA. Even in MBA, you kind of do some courses, but it does not really teach you anything new. It just brings more from what you already know. Okay. So generative AI is this new technology which is kind of creating what is called a level playing field for everybody. If you're a bad programmer, okay, earlier in life, you probably could not make it very well in the tech industry. You had to be a good programmer. You had to be a good developer. But generative AI says, no, you don't really have to be a good programmer, but you need to know what a good application looks like, right? It says you don't really have to be the best presenter. You don't have to be the guy who can do all the data analysis, but you need to know what kind of questions to ask when you're presented with a data set. Okay, you don't need to get all the skills, things such as coding, things such as creating PowerPoints, things such as talking in public and all of these things. Most of those things which were available for the best in the industry now have become democratized. A lot of the skills which needed highly qualified people can become democratized. I'm not saying they are already democratized, but yes, if you wish to have a particular project, if you wish to kind of create something, Now is the best time, any time in history, that you would have been able to build it. Let's say you always wanted to write a movie, you wanted to write a song, you wanted to create an album, but you don't play an instrument, you don't know how to operate a camera, you don't know how to write the script, but you always had this one idea of a very good story that you wanted to convert into a movie. Generative AI can significantly cut it back. You don't really need lots of money. You don't need very advanced, specific, very high level skills in order to create the content that you want to create the value that you want to create. So that's why I'm saying, welcome to the future of business. I'm not just saying that generative AI is the future of technology. It's already the technology. However, it is going to change the way we're going to live our lives. It is going to change the way we look at business. It is going to change the way we do our tasks. When we walk into office at 9 a.m. and work till 5 p.m., there used to be certain tasks that we used to do. That entire thing is going to change, and it is already changing. Okay, so we are already kind of in the future. So before we start, I would like to ask, what is intelligence? In a typical class, I would kind of get ideas from the students, but since this is a webinar, I'm going to give you the answer. Intelligence is about making sense of our surroundings and our inputs. So as I am talking, you are listening to my voice. You are looking at this PPT. You might be having a couple of things back in your mind. Those are all inputs, right? And you're trying to make sense of all of the information that is kind of coming to you. Intelligence is not specific to humans. Most mammals are pretty much as intelligent as we are, except that we have a couple of things that we do separately, which kind of sets us apart, right? Every bird has an intelligence to know that as it is getting colder, I have to move to a warmer climate. So that is intelligence. They are able to take care of their kids. They are able to take care of their elders and other things. We think, it turns out that humans think that we are the only intelligent thing out there. And that is where the definition for AI kind of comes in. So we have defined intelligence primarily as very simple things. We said, if I have to define intelligence, it has to do what humans do. What humans do, right? So intelligence is something that a human would do, not what a fish would do, or a cow would do, or a dog would do. What a human would do. But what do humans do, right? We talk. We see. These are the two main things. So it turns out whenever we're saying that AI is here, artificial intelligence is here, and it is going to be the end of all humanity. No, it is not, because we took like two small things that we can do, which are kind of important for most of our work. And we said, if a computer can do these things, if it can talk, understand me, and if it can see, it is intelligent. We have actually set the scope of artificial intelligence very, very narrow. It is not about whether it can emote, whether it can appreciate good poetry, whether it can take care of my children or anything. No, we defined the scope of intelligence very narrow for AI. We said, if it can understand English, if it can talk to me in English, and if it can see the surroundings and kind of make sense out of it, just like we do, that is intelligence. And why do we need the intelligence? Turns out, basically, everything that we do in order to generate value, we kind of need intelligence. Okay? But how did we reach where we are? We had about 10,000 plus years of advancements that are at our disposal, right? People have been building civilizations, people have been building technologies. Slowly, those technologies kind of came together. First, we had the Industrial Revolution, then we had the technology revolution, then we had the computer revolution, then we got the smartphones, and we got the internet. Slowly but surely, new technologies always keep coming. Please understand that this is not a new thing. Generative AI is a disruptive technology. Okay, It is a disruptive technology, which means that it is going to change the way we do things. But so did smartphones, right? Smartphones also changed the way we did things. Before 2012, we never used to shop online. Now, most of our shopping is online. We never used to game online. Most of our games are online or on our phones, right? We never used to work from home. Most of us work from home today, right? So every new technology kind of brings in a different way of looking at the world, different way of doing our same tasks. People used to communicate even before there were computers. But today we can send messages, videos, emojis. We can even send our emotions in, in no time and with almost no cost, right? So there was a time if I had to send a letter, it would have cost a lot. If I had to send a letter to the US, it used to cost like 25, 30 rupees, which was a lot of money, even for those days. Today, I can send an entire video to US within no time, almost instantaneously, and at no cost, right? So that is what intelligence is. Intelligence, we are defining it as very, very simple thing. We are saying whatever humans can do, especially the two things. Can it see? Can it understand language? Language and vision. This is where we kind of keep the scope of AI. Okay. So the top keywords in the AI business today are these things. What is machine learning? What is deep learning? And what is AI? As I said, AI as a concept has always existed. As humans, we wanted something to kind of take care of us, do the tasks that we really don't want to do, right? And every once in a while, a new machine would come up. I don't want to do my dishes. There is a dishwasher. I don't want to wash my clothes out in the open. We'll give you a washing machine and a dryer, right? I don't want to write down things. I don't want to do a lot of copies. We get you a copier and a printer. So new technologies have always been coming to kind of automate what we are doing. So artificial intelligence is not a new concept. We have always wanted it. As I said, there was an Akashvani in Mahabharata which was giving us information, and it was giving us relevant information, answering questions. So that was always there. That need for AI was always there. However, we had to build a whole bunch of technologies kind of to get to the point where we can teach a non-living entity, which is basically your computer, to pretend like a human. So what we're looking at AI is a semblance. Um, a caricature of intelligence. It's not even a caricature. It's kind of a mimicry of intelligence. It is trying to mimic what we are doing. It is trying to pretend that it knows that what we know. It is like being a 2-year-old child who is learning from all the things that we do, and they're trying to repeat it and then try to become more human. It is kind of like that. But that is also the fact that we are at the beginning of AI. This 2-year-old child is going to become a 20-year-old child in no time. And pretty soon, it will get a lot more intelligence and drive and all of those things, right? So what is machine learning? What is deep learning? What is artificial learning? For this course, I'm going to just deal with machine learning because deep learning is just one type of machine. Okay. So artificial intelligence basically deals with machine learning, which has supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Not quite necessary for our discussion today, but it also deals with natural language processing. What is the opposite of natural language? A computer language. A computer language is anything, like C, C++, Python, Java. All of these are computer languages. Ever since have been computers, we have been communicating with computers through these kind of languages. But then we said, no, I want to talk to the computer in English. I want to talk to the computer in Hindi. I want to talk to the computer in Telugu or Kannada. or Bengali or Chinese or Japanese, right? I don't want to sit and write code. I want to tell the computer what I want and I want it to do it. I want to tell the computer that I want to do some basic analysis on this Excel sheet my boss gave me, and I want the computer to do it. Second thing, I don't want to drive. I want a car to kind of take me where I want to go. It's a 6 hour journey to Hyderabad, for example, 6 to 8 hour journey to Hyderabad. I don't want to sit and drive. It would be great if a car can take me, I could take a nap in the car, right? I am still operating a whole lot of people in very dangerous jobs in factories. People get constantly hurt, people die. I don't want to do that. I want to automate it. People can possibly not lift 1,000 kilos, 2,000 kilos, 10,000 kilos worth of equipment. I want robotics and machines to do that, right? So all of the manufacturing, we need things to live, right? We still need manufacturing. We still need agriculture in order to satisfy us. So it basically comes down to what is AI. It can understand natural language as in the language that I am speaking to you right now, English, right? And computer vision. The way you are seeing this PPT, a computer should be able to see the PPT, right? Then what is machine learning? Then the next question comes in, what is machine learning? To keep it simple, just in case you have not heard of machine learning or you're not from the data science field, I will keep machine learning as quite simple. Imagine how you teach your children. Let's understand how we teach our own children, take the learnings from it, and try to see if I can write computer code. I want to teach a computer how to learn. It finally basically comes down to finding patterns within data. If one event is happening, can the other event happen? If a particular variable is changing, how will it affect my other variable? Can I get predictive capabilities? Once I have helped the computer to learn the patterns in the data, can I make it predict what is going to be the next little thing? So please don't confuse it with forecasting. Forecasting is different from prediction. Prediction is in the sense that, if a similar situation happens, will I get the same output again? It's as simple as that. And finally, I want it to learn from experience. I want it to learn from experience. So if I have a machine learning model on my phone and it knows what kind of transactions I do, it should identify if there are any fraudulent transactions. If it has seen sufficient fraudulent transactions before, it should alert me that there is possibly a fraudulent transaction. Please don't go ahead. So these are our machine learning models. So there are different types of machine learning models that we use. But eventually what happened is we decided that we want one underlying phenomena which can kind of do everything that all these other machine learning models do. Turns out, if you have a large amount of data, yes, you can do that. If you have a very large amount of data, you can do something called deep learning. It is one short algorithm. It is one approach towards machine learning, which kind of takes care of everything. It can learn how to classify images. It can understand natural language. It can do all of those things straight at once. So deep learning was kind of a breakthrough only in the past 10 to 12 years. Because before that, we did not have enough information or the kind of computers or the technology in order to be able to deploy these things. These are all very compute heavy. These are all very compute heavy, very storage heavy. This is not going to, deep learning is not going to be a solution if you are working on very small data sets. It will only work when you have gigabytes or terabytes of data. Then you can go ahead and build some cool learning models. So for example, have you ever heard of Google Lens? Google Lens, it is available on your Android phone. I'm not sure of iOS phones. If you go on your Google Lens, you can just open a Chrome and there you can actually search an image. You can take a look at any of the object in front of you and you can search it. It'll tell you where to buy it, what it is, what kind of a product it is, which company's product it is, are there any alternative products, a whole bunch of things. It is basically about being able to look at our environment and understand what each object is. That was a huge project from Google at one point. Even now, let's say you like a pair of shoes on somebody, ask them for permission, take a picture, it will immediately tell you where you can buy, go on Amazon, place the order for those shoes. It is as simple as that. Right? So that is machine learning. Machine learning has basically come to a point where it can understand language, it can understand vision, it can understand the patterns within most of our data. How does NLP work? So the next part is, if I do understand machine learning, what does natural language processing do? Natural language processing was necessary because I wanted to understand if a human talks to a machine. Remember I said that AI is basically about two things, talking and seeing. So I talk to something like Siri or Alexa. They are AI. I don't I don't give them computer-like commands. I talk to them in English. I talk to them as if I'm talking to another human. Then the machine captures the audio. It converts that audio into text. Then it runs a search on that text. It processes the data. It converts that data to audio, and then it comes back with the output. It talks back to me. That is how we also talk. So when I am speaking, you're listening to me, you're processing that information, and if you have a question, you will ask me back. So what we have created is an artificial mind. We have created an artificial processing power which can take input purely from a human voice and convert that into data to the necessary task, a search or an identification of a particular task, and then come back with audio again. It must create a response, and that response can be given back in terms of audio tones. The next part, computer vision. We use our eyes to look at certain things, and then we say it is a bowl, it's an orange, it's a banana, it's a lemon, it's a peach. A computer looks at the same thing using a camera, runs through some kind of a computing device, okay, runs through some kind of a processing, and it gives us bowl of orange, bananas, lemons, and peaches. So what are we doing? We're kind of replicating this old novel that we have, right? We're all given a brain at birth, and we use that brain in order to do a whole lot of really fascinating things. We're trying to train our computers to do the same thing. So essentially, what does AI come down to? It is about two tasks. It is about language. It is about vision. When we're talking about language, we call it natural language processing or large language models. You must have heard those terms. And when it comes to vision, it is called computer vision. Please note these things down. They can make, in case you did not know about these terms, they can make good Google searches. Go on YouTube, look at a vast number of videos that are available. What is natural language processing? What are large language models? What is computer vision? That is all that AI is. But turns out this is more than enough to kind of completely disrupt everything that we're doing. What is generative AI? What is it? It is generative, which means that if you give it an input, if you ask it something, it generates. It does not copy. Please understand, generative AI is not a search engine, is not a database. It is not retrieving information from the web. It is not searching for things. It is responding to you like a human would. Okay? Please have that concept quite clearly, because A lot of people think that generative AI is nothing but it is just a higher end of Google version, Google searching. No, it is not. It is actually generating text. It is creating text. There's a lot of technology that goes behind it. More than 20 years of work has gone into it, but it generates text, image, audio, video, ideas, plans, PPTs, anything that you want. It is generative. Based on your inputs, it can generate things. So what will be the future of it? It will be a capability that we had never had before. This kind of a capability we did not have before. We were doing automation. We have always been doing automation. Basically, I don't want to do a certain task which is very repeatable, which is boring. I don't want to keep doing it again. But many tasks were very difficult to automate because it still needed a human to kind of do a lot of things. That changes. Generative AI can mimic human intelligence and can do a lot of things that humans cannot do. Right? It can automate things. The main benefits is about saving time, but it is also about learning. Since you're going to save a lot of time, earlier we used to say that I don't have the time to learn anything new. It is going to help you. You want to learn piano? It is going to give you a proper plan. It will tell you where to go, what kind of websites to look at, what are the things that you have to start with first, right? You want to start jogging, you want to go for a marathon in the next 1 year. It can create a plan for you and say, this is the kind of things that you have to focus on. You have to focus on certain injuries. You have to focus on diet. You have to focus on your sleep. You have to focus on motivation, all of those things. And most importantly, it can help you find new ways to make money. I don't know if you have noticed, but if you've been on YouTube, there are so many AI generated videos, which you cannot tell if they are AI generated or being spoken by human. Some of them are actually funny. I recently came across a video which was really funny. It almost felt like a human was talking. No, it was completely AI generated. So the person just gave a couple of ideas, asked it to kind of create the script, created the video, kind of put it out there, and it's a really good video. So content creation, that is one way to make new money. Coming up with new business plans, creating your business plans, beating your competition to create your proposal and everything ahead of everybody else. Generative AI is going to help you. However, you must know the skills. You must know how to use this really complex engine, complex new machine that has come up to us. Right? It is like an aeroplane. An aeroplane can significantly cut down your travel time. It can go from months to just a day. If I had to go from India to US, for example, on a ship, the fastest ship will take me like 4 months. A plane will take me there in 24 hours. However, we need people who can fly the plane, right? It is a complex technology. We still need people who can fly the plane. So we need people who can use generative AI to create meaningful content, create meaningful output, use it for proper use in the office. Okay. What are the types of outputs that we get? We can summarize large amounts of content in a concise way. We can do content creation. I was talking about content creation. You don't know a particular topic and you have to kind of research it really, really fast. Learning and research. And of course, you can do coding. You can generate code much, much faster than ever before. You, however, still need to know what coding is. Okay, so for example, if you don't know how to compile a Python programming code, it is not going to be of much use. But if you know reasonable amount of Python, then you can use generative AI to write really cool applications. You can start creating applications for Android and for iOS, and you can just put them upon there and you can start making some passive income. If you do not know anything about programming, that will be a problem. However, you can just ask generative AI, you can ask ChatGPT, how can I become an application developer? It will give you a road plan, right? So that is what generative AI can do. It is a very useful, kind of a dangerous machine to kind of work with, but it can do a lot of things very, very easily for you. It can reduce your time that you're putting on tasks by like 95%, 98%. Whatever work you're doing today can be reduced by 98%. It should not take more than 2 to 3% of your current time to do the current task that you're doing. In fact, I'm going to show you certain demos on that. We have to, however, I think there was a question. Can I get the question? I cannot get out of the full screen mode. Can somebody tell me the question? Okay, anyway.
Sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I couldn't see any question here. If anyone like have any question, they can then certainly put in the chat box so that we can read out for sir.
Please put it in the chat box. We will reserve the last 15 minutes. At 8:30, I'm going to conclude my demo, and then we can open it for
The
questions.
chat is disabled. Chat is disabled.
Chat is disabled. Kavya, can you see if we can get the questions in another way?
Yes, now its chat is enabled. You guys can do it,
Please
right?
put it in there. Thanks. Please put in your questions, and Kavya, please take all of the questions, put it in chat GPT, summarize the general questions, and we can ask them en masse. All right?
Sure,
All right.
sir. Sure.
Yeah. So we are in the era, for example, there are 100 questions. We are not going to be answering all 100 questions. We will answer the themes. So do you see how we are going to be, proceeding further ahead? If I have to go through every question, that is manual task. If I can answer all of your questions by answering 3 or 4, that is generative AI in play. Okay. So the way we have to kind of start looking at generative AI is as an assistant. Imagine that irrespective of what level you're working at, imagine you have a secretary. Now the secretary is kind of young, okay? Not a lot of experience, but you have experience in your field. So you're telling the secretary all the things that you know. Now the secretary can do the work much faster than you. What takes you 4 to 5 hours, that secretary can do it in like 5 to 10 minutes. It is fast. It does not take any breaks. It does not show you attitude. It will create the content better than you could have imagined, which means that you are clearing up your time for a whole bunch of other things. You will be there for strategic thinking. Right? So the one way we should look at ChatGPT or we should look at generative AI or all of these large learning models is as an assistant. This assistant can do a lot of things for us. It can do a lot of tasks which are really, really boring. Like, for example, being in a customer service job, right? Yes, customer service employs a lot of people today, but it is also a very toxic job, isn't it? Even the best of us have yelled at some kind of a customer service representative once in our life, at least. Right? So it is not a very happy job for somebody to be in customer service. I can have 1 or 2 customer service people who understand customer service very well, but I can have generative AI kind of taking care of all of the tasks. Because like 90% of the things are going to be very, very simple. We don't have to keep a human to face all of that toxicity. We can make an AI do that. We, however, need to tell our assistant how to do, what to do, and how to do it properly. We have to kind of train it. But if we train it properly, that generative AI assistant kind of becomes quite good, quite fast. And it is not going to take any credit from you because you know what? It is not going to look for promotions. It does not have the motivation, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump off this thing, okay? And actually, let me finish this. So what are the things that we are looking for? What are the things that we think that, machines cannot do? We might think that machines cannot do creativity. They cannot write things. They cannot write poetry or a good story. It cannot do art. It cannot create music. It cannot create paintings like this. Turns out it can. with the right kind of prompts and the right kind of engine and the right kind of resources, you can do all four of them. It can do coding, and at the same time, it can write stories and create art. It can create music. It can create content. Right? So there was a time, for example, a sci-fi magazine had cut off submissions after a flood of AI-generated stories. They were sourcing stories from people, and it said no. And now there are going to be books that are going to be ChatGPT written, and we can have ChatGPT create fake reviews. People are going to be using that in order to kind of boost their own sales. There are going to be some issues with that. AI Image won a major photography competition. They did not know, people who were experts in photography didn't know that it was not an AI generated photograph. Take a look at this one. This was an AI generated photograph. None of these people are real, but it won a photography competition. It is as human as we can get. So if you're wondering how many of these people are real, some of these are real. 0 of them are real. All of these images, take a good look at each one of those images. They look quite human. They look quite photographic, right? They look like human people. But all of these are AI generated GANs, generative adversarial network based outputs, which have just created images which are as close to our human photographs as possible. These people do not exist. So imagine the kind of things that we can create using our generative AI. I'm going to give you a couple of examples because there is no limit to what we can do using ChatGPT. So as of today, the large language models it is a battlefield. Everybody is trying to kind of get to the top. Turns out ChatGPT kind of won the war for now because Microsoft is interested in it, and it also got a lot of marketing. But it is not exactly the best modeling platform out there. It is good. It is one of the best, but it is not the best. It is not the best for everything. It is kind of a generative. It's a very general purpose application that we have. You might have recently seen that Llama has created an AI and it is showing up on your WhatsApp. Have you seen that? Check, open your WhatsApp, go to the top, and when you're doing some search, it will say either search for a contact or search for anything that you want. It will talk to you like a human. Whatever questions you might have, it is going to talk to you exactly like that. There are so many different things: Palm, Stable M, Mistral, Mixtral, Claude. Okay, even there is something known as a Phi 3, which Microsoft is kind of creating on its own, not relying on OpenAI. There are so many different AI platforms that are coming up, but they all leverage the same basic technology in the background. It is just how that they are training them, right? So this is the current LLM or the large language model battlefield that we can do. So let's do some demos. We had enough of talk. Let me show you certain things that we can do in order to understand what the capability of AI is. I'm going to keep these things simple, okay, because we only have so much time. So let me take a look at some of these things. I have financial services.csv. I have an Excel file that my boss sent me, and I want to kind of do some analysis. He sent it to me at 9 p.m. today, and he wants some analysis of this document at 9 a.m. tomorrow. It's a large document. I have to spend at least 1 or 2 hours to kind of go through it. And that is after having 18 years of experience in data analysis. If I am a fresher, it might take me the entire night. And even then, any good analysis may not come through. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to upload this file from my computer. I'll go to financialservices.csv. It has already read the data set. It is giving me a preview. customer ID, age, gender, annual income, credit card outstanding, interest levied on those credit cards, late payment charges, credit card, credit score, like your CIBIL score, number of credit cards held. So much information is there. It would be impossible for me to kind of work on this thing just right away. It'll take me a couple of hours just to understand what all of those variables are and how they kind of work with it. Okay, so what it is doing, it has done some analysis. It is basically kind of showing even the code required to kind of do that analysis. It is a Python code, if you have noticed. And it is kind of giving me some analysis. It is saying the dataset contains each of these following columns. I have not asked it to do anything. It has already done some amount of analysis for me. It is saying that these are all the variables and these are some of the things that it can do. If you need any specific analysis or insights derived from this data set, let me know. So whenever you see this little thing on the side, right? This is the code for the analysis. It can create the code for this analysis. Okay, so I don't know. I have no idea what this analysis is. I will ask something simple. Okay, can you get me the average outstanding on the cards? The average outstanding in terms of thousands of dollars is this much, $9,890. So $9,897. Can you give me that in dollars? It had the intelligence to understand that it is in thousands of dollars and just multiplied by 1,000 and gave it to me. So approximately $9,897, or just round it to the nearest thousand. $10,000. The average outstanding balance on credit cards rounded to the nearest thousand is approximately $10,000. It is also creating the Python code required for me to possibly do some kind of analysis, right? Which are the most interesting variables in this data set? And create some basic visualization. Please understand that I'm actually being extremely lazy in the kind of questions that I'm asking. I can ask more important and pertinent questions. So distribution of years with banks, it is kind of giving me some really cool visualizations. Distribution of credit scores, distribution of years with bank, the number of people who have spent their years with bank. So here are some basic visualization based on interesting variables from the dataset. So like half of the job that I could have done and would have taken me 4 to 5 hours is already done over here. Right? I can ask it to do something even more interesting. No, I can ask something like, so, okay, I have these variables with me, monthly expenses, home ownership. Okay, how many of my customers are homeowners? Or I will ask, what percentage of my customers are homeowners? %27% of my customers are homeowners. Something that would take a lot of Excel skills, a lot of Python programming skills, and time is available to me basically by asking my questions. So from here on, it is about the quality of questions that I ask. It is going to give me every answer that I need. Yes or no? I will also give you something else. This data set was created by me using ChatGPT. This data set was given to me. This data set was built by me using ChatGPT. This is not a real data set. I gave it a bunch of prompts saying that, create a data set which contains at least 2,500 columns. Sorry, 2,500 observations, at least 25 columns. Right? So 25 columns. When I said at least 25, it just gave me 25. 25 columns, some 1,300 odd rows. Use certain banking and financial services terms such as loan number, credit scores, outstandings, and it made up the rest of them. I can create my own data sets if I want to. Primarily, I'm a trainer, so I always have to kind of come up with new data sets. So instead of going out and searching for them, I can just create my own data sets. I can create the data sets very specifically to kind of identify certain problems. I can include those issues into the data set and ask my students, how are they going to solve it? So this is one aspect of it. I will say, I need to prepare a 10-page PPT first thing tomorrow. Can you analyze and create? Can you analyze and list out 5 top 5 top insights from this data? So I have to create a 10-page PPT. I have to present it tomorrow. I'm just asking ChatGPT to kind of do all of that for me. See, one of the things is that I can, do a half-baked, half-assed job over here and kind of do some presentation. However, I can use this to significantly reduce my job and add value to things. I can create a very highly valued, PowerPoint presentation by taking away all of the guesswork and everything else. It is saying, yes, these are the top 5 things. Income versus credit card debt. Create some kind of a understanding. There is no strong correlation between higher annual income and lower outstanding credit card balances. As people, I'm already getting an insight out of this, right? It is saying higher annual income and lower outstanding credit card balance does not work. As people make more money, they spend more money. They don't get better at their credit card spend. This is an insight. Some customer with higher income still have significant outstanding balances. Just because I'm making more money doesn't mean that my credit card debt is going to be lower. That's an insight. Credit score distribution. Majority of customers have a credit score above 700, includes financial health. A notable percentage falls below 600. These are the people who are going to be a risk factor for me. Identify those people and give it to me. That is going to be my next question. Home ownership status. It has identified that home ownership basically means that you have an asset behind you. 27% of the customers own their own homes. All of this literally took me less than 5 minutes. I can take these things, make a deck for about 10 slides. I have very strong insights. I have images. I have text. I can ask more questions. I can even say, can you create 20 FAQs that I may be asked in the presentation program? I am simply talking to it in English. Write these things. Instead of spending an entire night, spend 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, and your job is done. If you want to, however, do an extremely good job, even then ChatGPT is your tool. Ask it more questions, ask it a better prompt, ask it in more detail. It will give you a more detailed answer. Right now, I've been asking very superficial questions. I started at 2030, and at 2037, I have basically my PowerPoint ready. There are other tools which will basically take this input and create my PowerPoint presentation also. I don't have to actually sit down and create slides. I can do all of that by using generative AI tools. Okay. So having said this, let me see if there is anything else that I can do. So let's say I give it this image. In fact, let me create a new. I am giving it an image. And I'm saying, just analyze this. I have no idea what is happening in this image. So this is an image clearly from one of those Bangladesh protests that are happening. Can you analyze and tell me what is happening in the image? Try to act like a detective. It is saying that the participants are mostly young, possibly students or young professionals. It was a students' protest. The text on the banner is Bengali, written with bold letters, which can symbolize urgency, danger, or resistance. Cultural geopolitical context. The presence of Bangladeshi flags in the background indicates that this protest is likely taking place in Bangladesh. Issue at hand is of national significance. This is intelligence, right? This is intelligence. It is saying that the crowd is well organized with the banner prominently displayed. Possible conclusions, all of these things. Can you run an internet search and find out which protest it is? It is running its own Google searches, and it can identify what exactly that protest was. 2024 Bangladesh Quota Reform Movement. It is even giving us the background of that thing. So the amount of learning that we can do, the amount of information that we can gather is practically limitless. Okay. There are a whole bunch of things that I can do. For example, I have a very complex mathematical problem. Okay, so something like this. Okay. It's not a very complex mathematical problem, but solve it. It is going to give me a step-by-step answer for everything. Trust me, I have actually done this at like PhD level questions. People who are going for engineering services examinations in electronics, I have seen their questions and I've put them to ChatGPT. It gives a very good approach towards the problem solving. The answer is 1. The limit is 1. So it is significantly better than any technology before us in understanding image, in understanding text, in doing data analysis, creating PowerPoint presentations. Everything that you do at office can be significantly reduced in terms of time and significantly be improved in terms of quality. So I'm going to stop here because I would also like to take some questions. So this is just a trailer. Generative AI has so much potential that we can't even imagine. So since this is a simple webinar, I kind of took it this way. Let's take it down to questions. I'm not sure where it is. Where is Zoom? Zoom. I'm open to taking the questions, by the way. Please go ahead.
So it was actually really, I can say it's really nicer. Actually, you
Thank
have
you.
stopped at that point, right? Now I'm thinking, what next?
There is
What?
so much more. I mean, generative AI. So as I said before, generative AI is not a course that you're going to take because you didn't know anything about it. You know all of those things, but generative AI is going to significantly change the way you do your work. It is not like C++ programming. It is not like full stack programming. It is not like going for a cricket coaching. You don't go to generative AI because I'm going to learn something new. You're going to generative AI because I'm going to completely transform the way I'm going to do my work. That is so different. So it is like, going for a master's in engineering versus starting your own business. That is the difference over here.
Yeah.
I am unable to see all the participants. I'm not sure where the application is.
So you can see.
Um,
So we have some questions
yes,
basically.
please.
And some are like really interesting also.
Please, please.
I think one like Mr. Madhu have asked like, what if generative AI or ChatGPT, if that is wrong, then who is responsible? If that gives the wrong answers or something, then who is responsible?
People, yeah. So I get this question a lot of times, when you're getting a false answer from ChatGPT, it is what is known as a hallucination. Okay,
Yeah,
because it is not searching for the right answer, it is kind of making up the answer. We give wrong answers all the time.
yeah,
Humans make mistakes all the time. We lie all the time. At least ChatGPT is not trying to lie,
mm,
right? So, yes, it might give you wrong answers, and it has happened before. We can fine tune that. But humans also constantly give wrong answers. It is something that we are used to. It's not a big problem. It is not a major problem. In fact, we are going to be, as technology advances, we will start treating AI more and more like a colleague, a friend, an assistant, somebody who works for us, right? Than a technology. So this concept that it can be wrong, it is always going to be there. Not an issue.
yes,
Every
and
technology fails. Every technology fails. Not an issue at all.
yes, and we have one more question from Divyansh. Can we 100% depend on this type of tool?
We will never 100% depend upon it. So imagine this, right? Um, Let me give you an example which has happened in the past. I remember the time when, um, not exactly the best kind of example. I remember the time when people used to send an email and then call to find out whether the email reached the other person or not. I remember that time. Okay, it is stupid, but people used to do that. I remember the time where people would say, I had a presentation in college where I created my presentation on a computer, on a laptop. And then my professor was saying, why were you not prepared for transparency? Because the projector was not working. The projector was not working. So I could not present my presentation, which was on my laptop. He said, why didn't you print those things out and bring transparencies? I'm talking about 2002. So technology, we will always not depend upon it. But today we depend upon so many technologies, we take them for granted. GPS, we take it for granted. WhatsApp, we take it for granted. Internet, we take it for granted. I remember the time not so long ago that you would only have internet when you needed it. When you came back home, there was no internet. You only had internet at office, or you had to go to a cyber cafe. Now you have internet 24/7, irrespective of power cuts, whatever happens. So yes, it may be not dependable right now, but in 2 years, it'll be completely dependable. We'll get used to it.
Yeah.
We will start paying for it. When we start paying for it, people will make it more reliable, right? So yes, every technology kind of goes through that. Nothing new about generative AI also.
We have one question from Mr. Vivek. What I understood is Gen AI is mainly providing us info that it already knows in the form of underlying LLM. Is that correct?
It is not. It is actually, so one thing I kind of like it is, so let me explain it in this way. Chimpanzees they are very intelligent. Okay. They are the closest in terms of intelligence to humans. They have about 70 words of vocabulary. Humans, just in English language, have 400,000 words of vocabulary. Okay. The intelligence and everything that we have created is that difference in language only. That language capability has made us a lot more intelligent. Generative AI has the same capability. In addition, it has a lot more information than any human. Right? We are intelligent because we know a lot and then we're able to process that information around. Generative AI has the same language capability as any of us humans. It also has access to all the information in the world, which makes it significantly more intelligent than us. It is not, as I said, it is not a search engine. It is not a database. It is actually thinking. What we have created is a model which can take an input, give an output. Turns out that the output is almost 99.999% accurate in terms of what we're expecting. So it is like this. I'm talking to a person and that person is kind of giving me very weird responses. I will start wondering if that person is a real person or not.
Yeah.
Generative AI, on the other hand, is giving me responses where I am not able to tell whether it is coming from a human or not. You can start having conversations with it. You will not be able to tell whether it is a human or not at some point. So it is not giving you answers from what it already knows. It is creating the answers from intelligence. It is not a database. It is not a search engine. When I asked it to search for the Bangladesh flag, it went and searched. Until then, it was not searching. It was creating the answers. It is analyzing just as a human would. That is why we are calling it generative AI. It is an intelligence. Okay?
Okay, I think you got your answer, Mr. Vivek. And we have one more question from Mr. Sachin Vishwakarma. Which module we have to learn for the data analytics?
Which module?
Yeah,
Module in the sense?
maybe I think in the sense like curriculum, like the contents and everything. What and all should we?
Data analytics is a fundamental skill that we need in business. Okay. So irrespective of what kind of a job you're going to be getting into, data analysis is going to be part of it. You could be in HR, you could be in marketing, you could be in core application development or data science. Doesn't matter where you are. Some amount of data analysis has to be done by basically everybody. It is a skill. It is a skill like driving and cooking. Everybody needs to know it. Right? So yeah, I'm being serious about it.
Yeah.
You cannot survive without data analytics. How are you going to trust what a dashboard is going to say if you cannot read charts, right? How are you going to understand your own, blood reports if you cannot go through that data and understand what those reports are saying? Basic data analytics is what everybody needs. Advanced data analytics is what can put you above everybody else. So data analytics is like a basic skill that we need. You, however, may not need machine learning, deep learning on Python. You don't need to build models by writing code in Python. You can build those models without knowing Python. That is the advantage of having generative AI. I can build machine learning models. I can build deep learning models. I can make image recognition models, natural language processing models without writing Python. I don't need to know Python anymore. Yes, I can create it. That is the advantage we have today. We probably did not have this advantage 5 years back. So I can teach you machine learning without touching Python code. That is the main thing. Yeah.
Kind of a like no coding something.
We can do no-code tools. There are a lot of no-code tools such as Tableau, Power BI, where you can create a lot of analysis without worrying about the Python coding, C++ coding, all of that techie stuff. If you understand the problem, business problem, if you have the basic intelligence, and if you know how to solve problems, that is all that we need in order to become employable.
Okay.
Hope that
Um,
answers.
yes, I hope Sachin have got his answers. Vivek have a following question for the which he have asked in the previously. He's asking, as you mean that it uses some indexing or search algo together with DL or ML models?
There is no indexing, there is no searching. It is a large language model. A large language model is basically, I'm not sure if I'm sharing my screen. I'm not sharing my screen anymore, right?
It's you're sharing it, so we can see.
You can?
Yeah.
You can see the normal distribution now.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is a y is equal to f of x kind of a situation. You have created a function where if I kind of give an input, it will give me an output. There is no indexing. So my function is basically a linear. It is of this format. I have a very, very large model. That is why we call it a large language model. However, there is no point to understanding what is A1, what is A2, and all of these things. Because it is kind of like a black box. If I'm giving it certain amount of inputs, it is going to process it and kind of give me. It is very similar to how our brain works. In fact, ChatGPT has 1.75 trillion parameters. The number is highly debated. Some people say it is in billions, sometimes some people say it is in trillions because they have never really published it. So these number of A1s, X1s, so I'm talking about a 1.75 trillion X's. So it is a very complex model. It is a model which is sitting, in OpenAI somewhere. It is still gathering information from us and it is kind of processing it. It is truly a language model, which means that it understands our language. It understands English. It can do translation. It can do transliteration, and so on and so forth. If somebody is speaking, for example, on YouTube videos, you have closed captions, right? Nobody is typing those closed captions. It is looking at the voice and it is converting that into text in real time. I hope you understand that. This is real intelligence. It is exactly like having a human, an artificial human, doing these things much, much faster than us. So it is not like any of the technologies that we have known before. It is a completely different beast altogether. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I hope Vivek got his answer.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's difficult to kind of explain what it is without having a background in data science, machine learning, deep learning, because there is a long path that we take to kind of get to generative AI. You can use generative AI without not knowing all of these things. Absolutely. So, for example, if you're a content creator, you're just an influencer, you want to post 2 videos on YouTube every single day, you can get all of your answers from ChatGPT, right? You're some Dhruv Rathi or Mohak Mangal types. They will just put in a prompt saying that what are the top topics available on internet today. They will look at those things. They will ask, create a script for me. They will sit down and kind of edit that script a little. That is why they're able to create content so much. Both Dhruv Rathi and Mohak Mangal tell us that they use ChatGPT. They themselves, use ChatGPT to create content because it makes things easy. They still have to go back and fact check. They still have to kind of write their own content, but like 80% of their work is done by ChatGPT. Not just ChatGPT, most large language models.
Murthy, there was one more thing in the chat. Somebody had asked, I don't know, I'm not able to see it now. Somebody had asked if somebody, if a person can give, good amount of, proper prompts, then why
yes,
do we need business?
data professional required.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Why do we need that? So just to, as a quick answer, if you know the subject, then only you can give good prompts. Simple one-line answer, right? If you know English, you can teach English. if you don't know English, you cannot teach English to that, right? So it sort of links to some of the other questions as well asked. That's why I just took it up and wanted to give. So you can't depend on Chat GPT, right? I'm just answering that guy, giving some inputs on that part.
That was Abhishek Pandey's question.
Abhishek Pandey's question, right? Yeah. So I just saw in the chat, so I just took it up. Maybe, I would like to say, if you are so much good at giving the prompts, it definitely helps you, but you should know how to give the prompt. Hence, like what Murthy
You
just
need
now
to know
said.
your domain. You need to know your
Exactly.
business.
You need to know, otherwise you cannot give good prompts. And you should also know how it works in the way it gives you the responses. You should be able to analyze that response and figure out whether it is sufficient, something more is required, it is incorrect. All those things you should be able to find out, and hence you need to know all these things before directly jumping into the use of these large language models. And secondly, you cannot depend on it 100%, because you cannot ask that I am having fever, which medicine would you give me? Will you take a medicine what Chat GPT gives you or recommends you? It might recommend based on many other things, but you cannot take a tablet just like that.
Yeah.
So that is the reason we
So we
need
have
this
to connect with
profession.
all the leads.
That's actually true,
We
sir.
have to work tomorrow for
I think Himanshu have raised his hand. Himanshu, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. I think Vivek also have Vivek, maybe the question that you are mentioning over here, since it's on a text. So maybe like if you want, even you can unmute yourself and talk to sir. I think Himanshu have a question. Himanshu raised his hand. Himanshu, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Himanshu, are you there? I hope, yes.
Hi.
Yes, Himanshu, you can see. You can ask your question.
Uh, right now, I am just seeing everything how artificial intelligence is working because I am not into this segment. So, moreover, I am listening all these things.
Okay. So you just raised your hand, so that's the reason we thought you have any question or something.
Right, right.
See, generative AI is going to affect everybody. Doesn't matter which field we are in, it is going to affect all of us. Just like computers affected us, smartphones affected us, internet affected us, it is going to affect us like in 100 times more. Imagine how
Right.
our lives changed after smartphones came by, after internet came by. Imagine that 100 times more. That is the kind of effect we are going to have. Positive, negative, we don't know yet, but we have to learn. It is not going away anywhere. Okay, whenever
Yeah.
a new technology comes, if it is not sufficient, it is not doing enough good to the people, the technology does not go away,
So,
right? So for example, if
what?
India doesn't use it, China is going to use it. So are you going to just stop using it? No. So we
So,
have,
what you suggest? We should start with data analysis first or data science?
that is dependent upon individual by individual basis. I would not be able to answer that. It depends upon your needs. It depends upon where you are, who you are. It is not such a easy answer to give. Please set up some time with Swati. She will be able to.
Yes, sir. I can schedule the call. Sir, I have one question, okay, which is I think many of learners who have joined, everyone may have this question which is going on in their mind. So whatever the curriculum that right now we have prepared, data science with the generative AI, I think how exactly that is gonna helpful for all the professionals or the freshers, and as well as the professionals who are in the different sector or the domain. So how exactly it is going to helpful for them?
Okay. So, for example, doesn't matter what kind of work you are in, you still have to do data analytics, right? So you could
Yeah.
be in procurement, you could be in supply chain, you could be in marketing, HR. Okay, you could be in BI, business intelligence. You could be doing a whole bunch of other things for primary research, secondary research, right? So irrespective of what you're doing, you still need to do data analysis. You still need to make PowerPoints. You still need to be able to present what you're doing. You have to generate reports. Those are about 80% of most people's responsibilities in any job. You have to send out emails. You have to answer emails. You have to take meetings. Right? Those are the things that everybody has to do. Generative AI can significantly reduce them. So, for example, if you are in a meeting and somebody told you, take minutes of this meeting, you don't have to sit down and actually take the minutes of the meeting. There are AI tools which can take the minutes of the meeting, summarize it, send out emails in terms of action items to all the required parties at the end of the session. So our work is going to significantly change. How is it going to change? Nobody knows. Really, nobody knows. This is a brand new technology. It has been out for less than 2 years, but it has huge capabilities. Every major company is betting on it. The top tech companies, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Apple, each one of them are betting on AI alone. They understand that this is the next big wave of efficiencies. We're going to create efficiencies in the sense that what 100 people were doing, one person can do it. What 1,000 people can do it, one person can do it in under half of the time. Those are efficiencies we're looking at. This is not a new thing. This constantly happens. Don't worry too much about it. There might be a little shock in the beginning, but then our entire economy will expand. There will be completely new jobs. There was no such thing as an influencer 10 years back. There was no such thing as an influencer or content creator 10 years back. Now those are legitimate jobs. There was no digital marketing 15 years back. That is an entire new industry, right? So when AI does come in, it will start completely new industries, completely new jobs. We don't know what is going to come, but it is definitely going to make our lives different. Easier, tougher, I don't know. Different, definitely. Okay. For example, I used to take a lot of pleasure in just doing data analysis because I could just put on music and just go through the motions, completely turn off my mind. Working on Excel sheets. Now with generative AI, I don't have the luxury to do that. My boss will tell me, why don't you use just chat GPT and do something faster? Why are you spending so much time working on Excel sheets? Give it to me in half an hour. Earlier, he would have said, give it to me the next week. Now he would say, get it to me in half an hour. Now, is that better? I don't know. I don't know. Right?
Sir, I think now we don't have an answer for this right
We don't
now.
have the answer. How is our life going to change? I don't know. But it is
It's
definitely
for
going to change.
better or it's for our worse. No one have an answer at present right now. Okay.
All we can say is that our life is definitely going to change. That's all.
It is going
That
to
would be
change.
the answer.
Yeah, definitely. That is what there is a one more question over there in a good way or in a bad way. So even that also the answer for that question, I think no one can answer as of now. It is how exactly. I think we have to wait for it. How exactly it is gonna change
See,
our.
in the early 90s, there was a huge push for computerization in banks. A lot of labor unions went ahead against it, saying that this is going to lose jobs. And people who refused to learn computers eventually did lose jobs. But banking industry is 1,000 times bigger than it was in the 90s. It employs thousands of more people more, tens of thousands of people, millions of people more. Right? So it is not going to destroy jobs. Anytime a new disruption technology happens, it only creates more jobs. But it completely changes how we look at business as is.
Yeah.
It is going to change the landscape. So that is something that we kind of need to know and we need to understand.
Yes. We have one more question from Mr. Madhusudan. Is AI makes humans lazy because it's leading to decline the problem solving skill and critical thinking?
Blinkit and Zomato came by. Did we become lazy by not going out and eating? So depends upon the person.
Yeah.
If you want to be lazy, life will still be okay. You can afford to be lazy. That is something I can say. But
In
yes, if
fact,
you are a very hardworking person and if you like to do new things, you would like to build new things, you can. Okay.
I, I,
So 10 years back, if you wanted to create create a YouTube channel on the topic of your interest, it may not have been possible because you did not have the skills. Now you can. You don't need any of those things. You don't
Yes.
need cameras, you don't need actors, you don't need script writing skills. You can do all of those things using generative AI. You don't even need the investment. All you need
yeah,
is a computer and a small license, and you can kind of start working on those things.
yeah. I think it doesn't make a person lazy. Rather, it makes a person more active, and you
But if
have
you're
to work more
lazy,
in order to get the required results from using the tool, right? So you can't be lazy. If you are lazy, you won't be using it at all, right?
but
So
if you're lazy, you can afford it. It will do all of your things for you. Okay. But again,
Or
it's
else
not
we can think
suggested.
in this way also, the time which we are that actually the time which we are gonna save, so that we can implement, that we can use it somewhere, and that's what leads to many innovations and all. So even in a good way also we can take it.
See, I
If I'm
will be honest, right? It doesn't matter how lazy we are, danda to padta rahega. Okay.
yeah,
The world is not going to just let you, just while away time.
correct,
There will be an appraisal every year. They will expect you to kind of do things. They will expect you to create value, show what you have done. You have to increase year on year. There is no place for complacency in our world. You have to constantly upskill. You have to constantly deliver. You have to consistently exceed your expectations. That is how careers go forward. Or else you will go out of a job.
correct.
That is how the world is. However difficult it might feel, we live in a world like that. Unless you have a lot of money, you know, we have to constantly upskill ourselves. There is no choice.
This is actually I can't say just 100%, actually it's 200% correct, sir. Since we are talking to many of the students every day, so maybe 100 plus students, I think many of students right now problem is that itself, like many expectations, more expectations from the companies where they are not able to reach that, and where right now there is a situation where they're getting laid off, or else they're on bench, no projects. So it's like a lot of things, people come with a lot of problems.
See,
If
I
I
don't
see
think the layoffs are happening because of AI, but the job market slowdown definitely is because of AI, because people are not backfilling those positions.
yeah.
So companies are not actively laying off. But
Mhm.
when somebody leaves a position, that
Mhm.
position is not getting filled up because people can use generative AI to do that person's work.
Exactly.
So
Now,
companies are also easing into it. They're not being very aggressive with this strategy. They don't understand it themselves. So they are going slow. They are creating their own AI strategies. We are still kind of figuring out how these things work. For example, Government of India has an India AI mission. You can kind of look it up.
mhm,
Government of India is looking for ways to implement AI in all of their ministries. We still don't know how. We have to figure it out.
yeah.
We know that AI has to be implemented to make things efficient. For example, India has always been a slow government. The
Mhm.
one way we can improve things, like for example, in law, in judiciary, things move slow in India. Okay, we cannot change it by changing people. We cannot change it by changing laws or anything. We can change it by changing technology, right?
We Yes, we have one question from Mr. Nishant. Will generative AI boost? It's like a big economy or gig economy. I think I don't know, GIG economy.
Gig economy.
Yeah.
It has already done that. It is already doing the gig economy a huge push, especially in terms of content creation, in terms of freelance jobs. Okay, especially people who are coding from home without being part of any company. It is already there. I know a lot of people, full stack engineers, who just use ChatGPT. day in, day out to do their jobs. They can do entire planning, entire schema mapping, everything using generative AI. Even long lines of code, SQL queries, everything they're taking care of using generative AI. It is already there. So what they were making before generative AI, they're making 3 times as much because they're able to take three times as many more clients. Yes. Okay. I think I have to get going. It is 9:15 now.
Yes, sir. I
I
think
promise people I'll be there by 8:30. It's 45 minutes late. But we can always do this another time. Please feel free to email your questions. I will send out my answers on that.
yes, guys, you can even reach out. I think in the chat you will find my number also. So anyone would like to connect with sir or want more information on this, you can certainly reach out to me. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Tejasvi sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Murthy sir. Thanks to everyone who have actually spent their weekend in learning some new things. And I hope this session have got some good insights to them. And thank you so much, guys. Definitely will be coming up with these kind of sessions every week. And even you can just go through the our website. Over there you'll find all the information, or else you can just reach out to us with the number. And regarding any course details or something, as we are started a batch from we are going to start the batch from Monday. So we have the weekday batches. Anyone would like to join, definitely you can reach out to me, and even you can refer to your friends also. These kind of insights where you have got this within a 1 hour, I think you will get an opportunity where you can learn many things. And where even Murthy sir and Tejasvi sir can share their expertise also with you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you, Murthy sir. Thank you, Tejasvi sir. Thanks to each and everyone who have gave your time and who have gave your precious time. And thanks for joining. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let me just answer one question. It says, hallucination means the AI tool thinks that it is always right. Whatever it gives as an answer, it always feels like it is the correct answer. Okay. So I just want to, say that, please don't think of AI thinking and our thinking as the same thing. And unlike humans, it is self-correcting. Okay. We don't learn from our mistakes, and AI learns from its mistakes. That is the biggest difference between us and the AI. Okay.
Yeah.
Tejasvi's answer, I just wanted to add a couple of addendum to it.
Mhm.
It is, yes, it is giving an answer, but if it is wrong, you tell it is wrong and it is going to learn from it. We, however, don't learn from our mistakes. That is a very human thing, right? So
That makes the
which is
major.
better is, I will leave it up to you.
Yeah, that makes the major difference.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I hope everyone got their answers for all their queries which was going on in their mind. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you to everyone who have who are present today and got some good insights. And we will be inviting you these kind of sessions every week, and you can get more insights also. Thank you so much.
All
Thanks
right.
to
See you
everyone.
all. Bye.
Bye. Happy weekend.
Happy
Thanks,
weekend.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.